Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. In our increasing digital world, data breaches have become a near daily occurrence, affecting both individuals and businesses across the globe. As more sensitive data is stored online, the risk of cyber attacks and unauthorized access grows, leading to exposure of personal, financial, and proprietary information. This rise in data breach also has led to significant increase in legal actions. Individuals who have been impacted by these breaches are increasingly turning to the courts, often through class action lawsuits, to seek compensation for damages. As a result of this, it is crucial for both businesses and individuals to understand the legal implications of data breaches and their associated responsibilities. Today's PowerPoint will cover key legal concepts such as injury in fact and standing in data breach cases. The obligations that companies and government agencies have when a breach occurs will also be covered, and the consequences of not meeting these obligations. We'll also discuss a few best practices for handling data breaches and minimizing risks moving forward. So, introduction to data breaches. Data breaches are becoming more common every day. Individuals and businesses are increasingly affected by this exposure of sensitive information out on the web. Legal actions, including class action lawsuits, are also on the rise because of these breaches. Affected individuals will be reaching out through the courts, but they also must prove injury in fact to have legal standing. Plaintiffs must demonstrate tangible harm, not just a potential risk, to establish good standing for a lawsuit. The purpose again for this presentation is to discuss the concept of injury in fact and how it is applied in data breach lawsuits, to explore why some courts find plaintiffs to have standing in these cases, and to examine the obligations of private companies and government agencies following a data breach. What is injury in fact? What is it? It refers to the plaintiff's requirement to show that they have suffered a real, tangible harm from a breach, not just a theoretical risk. Courts usually require actual damage to grant a standing lawsuit. A legal case that brought up this injury in fact is the Claridge versus Rockview Incorporated. Court ruled that the plaintiffs did not have good standing without showing these concrete harms that were occurred to them. The court noted that exposure to data alone is not enough to establish harm or standing. Courts may find standing when there is evidence that the breach has caused by a specific injury, such as financial loss or identity theft. Courts have ruled that if a breach compromises personal data that could lead to future harm, plaintiffs may have good standing. An example of an injury includes financial loss, unauthorized transactions linked to the breach, and notification after the breach. A few applications of companies and government agencies after a breach include immediate action. Companies must notify affected individuals within 30 to 60 days. Investigate the cause and scope of the breach. Remedy customers who are affected by offering support. Example of this is credit monitoring. Government requirements include having companies report breaches to authorities. The compliance of regulations of HIPAA and the GLBA. Penalize armed fractions for not complying is also what these government agencies should do after the breach. Prevent future breaches. Enhancements of security organization wide. Continuous monitoring. Few consequences include legal, potential fines for failing to notify on time. Lawsuits include class action lawsuits from those affected. Reputation damage include loss of consumer trust and media backlashing. Regulatory scrutiny is also a consequence from these organizations failing to notify consumers. Investigations from agencies such as the FTC or state authorities. Operational disruptions is also an impact for business operations, big or small. It includes system downtimes, which can affect the functionality of a business overall. Few best practices include immediate responses, communicate breaches to those who are affected, provide remedy, install strong access controls, encryption, and regular audits, educate employees on data protection and policies, and adopt continuous monitoring. Companies must adopt this to prevent any future leaks or attacks. Some conclusions and key takeaways. Swift action is critical after a breach occurs. Compliance with legal obligations is a must. Have preventive measures that can reduce future risks. Companies should have clear breach response plans and security measures in place. Notification of any breach is important to maintain trust and reduce any type of harm. Here are the references. Again, thank you for your participation of this PowerPoint. Have a good day.